Oops. Let me see if I can do it right this week. We're the Con Guys, and this is the Con Guys Show, coming to you straight from the nerdy heart of Hollywood, California.
And this is Jim with theconguy.com.
She's been here with theconguy.com.
Katie here, aka the Con Girl.
Zordon did not want 5 teenagers with attitude.
My name is Derek Sam.
I'm Danae Sams, and that's my brother.
We are your home for news, opinions, and interviews from the world of Comic-Cons and fandoms. Your ultimate insiders for all things con. And special surprise guest. Who is this?
Hey!
Right away.
What up? Happy May the 4th, you guys, from sunny Burbank, California. It's the Con Guys with your host, James Fry, who's the con guy, the scare guy. He's here, ladies and gentlemen, commanding the Millennium Falcon. And holy cow, Katie Kawamoto with the coolest hair I've ever seen. Jake, Ben Cleaver, it's his anniversary. Happy anniversary. And guess what? I feel like we're all getting married today. It's at today's Jim. Thank you for having me on.
Oh my gosh. Ryan, I'm so glad to have you back. For those of you who don't know, Ryan Nielsen, the incredible Ryan Nielsen, was the engineer on our show for such a very long time. And
hey, Jim,
yes,
real quick, you're kind of eating the mic there. You can back off a little bit. You're blowing out the speakers just a hair.
Gosh, Ryan, see, we need you back to help.
You got a great mic. You got a great mic.
Let me move it over here. Anyway, Ryan was the engineer for a very long time on the show. It's so glad to have him back. He's moved on to bigger and bigger things. Ryan's got some cool stuff going on these days. But welcome, everybody, to the Con Guy Show, the official podcast of theconguy.com. And let me be the 2,000th person today to wish you happy May the 4th or happy Star Wars Day. I'm sure you guys have been getting it all day. On this week's show, we are celebrating all of the news, the collectibles, and announcements from May the 4th. And we're topping it all off with the Con Guys' 50 greatest moments from Lucasfilm's 50 years. You got that right. 50 moments. We're going to speed through it, so don't worry. This is not going to be a 5-hour podcast. I say that
it's
every
only going to be a
week.
4-hour podcast.
It'll be as long as the Snyder Cut.
And like Rilo Wren, as he is calling himself, has just informed you, I am Jim Fry, your editor-in-chief here. We can real quickly, starting with Katie, go around and introduce yourselves to everybody.
I wasn't ready. Can we come back to me?
Danae.
Hi, I'm Danae Sams. I'm one of the con girls and one half of the Samblings. I don't know where the other half is, but I'm pretty sure he's joining us later.
Yep,
so we'll see him then.
We have 2 other people joining us later. Rilo Wren, please introduce yourself to
I know.
the watchers.
I feel like my boxer impromptu introducing everyone was not sufficient enough, but I'm here. And almost like a Star Wars opening crawl, here's my crawl. Rilo Wren. I'm a post coordinator with an Amazon Skydance show, and sunny California big Star Wars fan sporting the Ahsoka Tano shirt merch. Psyched to be on the Con Guys.
We're psyched to have you. Upper and right above Ryan, who do we have? Katie.
I am Katie, aka Katie Christine, and I am really excited to talk about Star Wars.
Yeah.
Where'd you get that, Katie?
I got this at Disneyland yesterday. I finally splurged and treated myself to this nifty custom lightsaber at Savi's workshop. And it was great. I went back to Disneyland for the first time since it reopened, but it was an early birthday gift / 1-year Twitch affiliate anniversary gift to myself.
Wow.
So, hey, can you hold that up to the screen one more time, Katie?
Hold on. I'm just going to show you guys the hilt because it's a lot easier to show that than the nice blue saber I got because you can't get a yellow kyber crystal at Savi's, at least not when you make it.
Let's see the hilt.
Oh, that's awesome.
Ooh.
See, it looks like you got the Rancor tooth there. Or,
Yeah, well, so
nice.
I was gonna do the one that clips, but then I saw this and I was like, yeah, I can't not have that. And then the grips.
Pretty dope.
Very cool.
This is the elemental hilt. It seemed the most me. So, and my roommate agreed. I wanted to send a video to Jim and Luke to show, but unfortunately, when my roommate tries to send me videos from her phone because she doesn't have an iPhone, they get all pixelated. And so I don't have a clean video for you guys.
We know what that's like, right, Ben?
Also, these hilts,
Android for life.
these hilts are so heavy, by the way. Like,
He's the android.
Not-
Okay, I've been wondering who's the green
Are you the
texture.
person whose number I don't have saved in my phone, Ryan?
I am Danae. It's great to meet you.
Oh.
Let's and you. No, we've met before, of course.
We have
And
met.
Ben. No.
All right. Yeah. Next to Katie, Jake, introduce yourself, please.
Hey everybody, mine's not as cool as Katie, but I do have a lightsaber.
Cool.
Mine's a good story because I bought lightsabers for my nephews like 10 years ago. And then about a year ago, my sister was like, hey, they don't want these anymore. We're going to sell them. Do you want them back? I was like, yes, I do. But I'm Jake from the Jacoba system, coming to you from Columbus, Ohio. And I'm excited to talk about my all-time favorite franchise, Star Wars, and talk about the cool collectibles that they announced today and all of our love for this great film series.
Awesome. And of course, right below Jake.
Hey everyone, it's me, old buddy Ben. And just want to take a moment to tell you that we are coming to you from that#show.com. And because I love being a sponsor whore, today's show is brought to you, as always, by Neft Vodka, reminding you to please drink responsibly, as well as toink.com, toynk.com. Go check it out. They got all kinds of collectibles and toys and all kinds of cool stuff there, too. And I'm super stoked because, as Jim mentioned, today is my second wedding anniversary. And, yeah, there you go. That was our first dance. Picture courtesy, Jim. And thank you for that lovely graphic, Jim. It's very thoughtful and kind of you. And this, as I said, this is our second wedding anniversary. So if y'all are doing the math out there, we've had 2 wedding anniversaries, all of which have been in COVID quarantine. So,
Hey, and why do you have that red cup? Oh, wait. Does he still do that bit?
He still does that.
it's coffee this night.
Wait, what bit? What?
I was asking why you have that red cup, but I don't see a red cup. I don't know why I said anything.
It's a red flute. That's what it's called.
Okay, wait.
And
Go ahead, Ben.
We still haven't had a honeymoon.
yeah, my wife just popped in to mention we still haven't gone on our honeymoon.
We love Bree so
I'm
much.
not upset. It's fine. Good thing I like him.
That was incredible.
He's kind
All
of
right.
cute.
That's awesome. Everybody who has a drink with them, hold your drink up as we toast the happy couple. Happy May the 4th.
Thank you. Oh, wait, hold on.
Wait, she's going to get her glass.
It's
Okay,
always
okay.
a party. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to finish your.
I almost stepped on the dog.
There we go. So happy May the 4th anniversary to 2 of our favorite people, the con couple, Ben and Bree. 2 years ago, they took their first steps as man and wife on Star Wars Day, proving themselves not only super in love, but also super cool. May the Force be with you always.
And also with you.
So glad.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, I'm going to take the dog out.
Okay, take the dog out.
Bye,
All right. Hey, guys. Tonight, we are celebrating May the 4th, Star Wars Day. And let me just tell you a little story real quick. This is kind of weird. It looks like I'm not paying attention because I'm reading from over here. But listen, I saw Star Wars at the age of, I think, like 9 years old. Yes, I am that old. I collected the Star Wars collectible bubblegum cards way before I ever saw the film. My Uncle Randy talked about it as one of the best films he'd ever seen. And I remember having the bubblegum cards and he was telling me which ship was fast. The X-Wing was fast, but the Millennium Falcon was even faster back in the 70s. Back in the 70s, those dear old 70s, Star Wars fever was everywhere. And as a young kid, the first time I saw Luke and Leia swinging across that bottomless pit in the Death Star, I was hooked. It's the film that turned me into a storyteller and a writer and a filmmaker. It is the film that did that. It changed the course of my life, and it set me on my life's journey, and it's a film we can never forget. Everybody has a minute. I'm starting with Danae. Please tell us what hooked you into the Star Wars universe.
Oh man. I mean, as long as I can remember, we were watching Star Wars at my house. I mean, you guys know I have 2 big brothers, so all the things that I considered cool until about 12 years old were things that were considered cool by them first. I do remember, I think it was when in the early 90s when the VHS trilogy was released. We had a VHS box set. They were all in the black covering. I can hear an echo of myself through here. I'm going to turn my computer down, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know why that's happening. Okay. Anyways, I think my brothers got good grades or something. I wasn't even in school yet, but my parents got that for them as a gift. And from the start, I knew all the spoilers. Like, I knew from the very first time I saw A New Hope that Luke and Leia were brother and sister, because I had 2 big brothers explaining it to me the whole time. But it was one of those things, whenever they introduced me to something new, they would pause and explain what was happening so that I could enjoy it with them, because they're awesome. And yeah, so Star Wars has been around with me forever, sporting Empire Strikes Back, because that's the best one.
All right. Before we move on next to Jake, let's say hello to some people real quick. Hey, Ben.
What up, Kat?
Blood good.
And also, hello, Nathan Rita. And we always love to see you, Mr. Jonathan Wilkins. 50 moments. And look at here. We're going to wait a little bit later. Wait, no, let's go right now. Moment number 1, Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's the big moment. Moment number 2, Temple of Doom. Moment number 3, Last Crusade. Moment number 4, not the Crystal Skull, just something Star Wars.
Oh,
Ryan, what up, cat?
that's me.
And can I follow?
Of
Wow.
course hey,
Cool.
you can definitely follow us. Can I follow?
Very cool.
Appreciated.
All right, Jake, what got you into Star Wars?
Well, my first introduction to Star Wars, surprise, surprise, it was actually the action figures. As a kid, I had an older brother, so I remember being really little playing with the action figures. And we had A New Hope, we had taped off TV, so we had that on cassette. So I remember seeing parts of that as a kid. But then in the early 90s, I remember my dad coming home, kind of similar to Danae's story, but this was the previous VHS release of all the original films. So we sat down and watched them all, and it just, from that day, I was just hooked. And this was always my favorite, Return of the Jedi. Of all of them, I watched this so many times. I just love the creatures, I love the effects, I love, everything. The action, the music, they're amazing. What else can you say, But
Holy
yeah.
cow, dude, that is.
And can I say, can you lean back? I want to see your shirt.
Oh, yeah, this is from
He's got
This
a
is
shirt
from,
of Jabba the Hutt and his gangsters. It's awesome.
yeah.
From Star
Al
Wars
Capone.
Celebration? Is that what it says?
Yeah, it's from
Oh my
Celebration
gosh.
from 2019 in Chicago, so they had the gangster stuff.
Who knew that would have been the last one?
Yeah.
Until next year.
Next year. All right, Ben, what about yourself?
Me? Oh man. So I really credit my older brother Chris with turning me into the nerd that I am today. And as you can see, I have the con guy pulled up on my other screen right here. I leaned too hard on my desk. Okay, there we
I
go.
feel much anger in you. What's shaking?
My eyes just turned yellow. I really credit my older brother Chris with turning me into a nerd, because he was always into Batman and the Muppets and Star Wars and everything that you could, every nerdy, geeky thing that you could think of. He wasn't really into comic books or anything like that. I got into that individually later on in life, but my brother Chris introduced me to Star Wars, and I remember I was a kid, like back in the early 90s, and Chris was like, Darth Vader. I just remember very vividly him telling me, Darth Vader has to wear that suit because he fell into a lava pit. I don't know how I knew that. This was like the late 80s, early 90s. And I always dreamed of what that must have been like. And then, of course, in 2005, we got to see it happen. But yeah, I always, you know, he's my movie buddy. When we lived nearby, he lives in Wichita, but when we lived nearby, we'd always go see Lord of the Rings and all that kind of stuff together. And yeah, just Star Wars always stuck. Empire is one of my favorites. Whenever it snowed at home and I was sitting in the passenger seat of a car and we're driving through the snow, I'm just thinking snow speeders on Hoth. And it's just something that's been ingrained in me since I was a wee little kid, and my older brother started showing me the movies at a young age.
That's fantastic. Katie, before we go to Katie, a question from our favorite commenter, Brad. What's Star Wars? We're going to ignore that.
Where they're on the Enterprise.
I was going to say it's the voyages of the Starship Enterprise.
Yeah.
Ruined the
Ryan is so excited to tell his Star Wars story. His ears are glowing blue.
They're turning blue. I miss Brad. Shout out to Brad.
Hey, Ryan, let's go with Ryan next, and then we'll go.
Oh, I didn't want to take
my story is not going to be nearly as good as Ryan's. I can
Okay.
So
I doubt it.
Self-deprecating, Katie.
So
Katie.
a lot of you guys might not actually know this, but I didn't really identify myself as like a big nerd when I was growing up. I mean, I liked movies, I liked TV, all that stuff. That's one of the only things I was able to do aside from music, living in the mountains. But I can't tell you what my specific first memory of the original trilogy is. I know I saw them as a kid. I probably watched them because of my dad. That he was always the one that put those movies on TV. But my first actual memory that I remember was, of course, and it's going to make some people cringe, was seeing The Phantom Menace in theaters. So I do remember seeing The Phantom Menace in theaters. It was my first actual theatrical experience for the franchise. And that's when I kind of got into it. But actually, now that I think about it, though, that's probably the first science fiction movie I saw in theaters. So that's kind of a special moment, knowing that that's kind of what launched me into liking science fiction. And I think I'm going to make another controversial statement, and it's a good thing Derek's not here, but Ben might also stop being my friend after this. My dad always watched Star Trek when I was growing up, and I was never really a fan because it was the thing that my dad put on that I was like, I guess we'll watch this again. So I think I liked Star Wars by default because it wasn't as popular in our house as Star Trek, if that makes sense.
Did you like Phantom Menace the first time you saw it?
Yeah, but I was also like, I don't even remember how old, but not very old.
All right.
I don't. What year did it come out again? It was
99.
99?
Yep.
I was 11.
Same year as The Matrix. It lost in special effects to The Matrix.
Which
I
is
love
obscene. Sorry.
What?
It's obscene. It should have won. Totally should
have won. Man, The Matrix, come on.
Dude, The Phantom Menace paved the way. There's half of that movie's practical. I know the prequels get a ton of crap. Sorry, this is a whole prequel side story here, but that movie's pretty well. Looks pretty good.
Okay, Ryan. Don't go down that trap. No. What got you into Star Wars, Ryan?
I don't even know. Look, this isn't even a special big thing. I love hearing all your guys' stories because the thing about Star Wars is no matter what, where you're from in the country, what age, what part of the world, rather, if you share a love of Star Wars with someone else, you could instantly become friends with someone else. And I think that's the most beautiful thing. I've become friends with all of you guys. And it's just so awesome to be here. I remember growing up, my parents were awesome, and they showed me the originals first. And this is when the prequels were already coming out. And then they showed me Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones. And those were the ones I really grew up with while they were being released. I remember seeing the third one in theaters, Revenge of the Sith. But man, yeah, in middle school and in high school, that's when, there were really no movies coming out. And it was the Clone Wars. And I was one of the few people that I kind of just was along for the ride with that. And I think a little bit of high school, the love for Star Wars kind of dwindled. And I wasn't really paying attention to it as much. I was more falling in love with movies. But then when college came around, Disney bought it. And it was wow, we're actually going to get more of this. That love was completely reinvigorated. And it's just been growing more and more every day. So yeah.
For those of you doing the math, that means Ryan is 14 years old.
I'm
Jim
younger.
is 575.
At least. I knew Yoda when he was a wee little lizard. Okay, here we go. Real quick. We have a request from the audience. Hey, everyone, please do a round table of your favorite Star Wars characters, starting with Katie.
It's a good question. My favorite character is Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Cool.
Nice.
Jake.
I gotta go Han Solo.
Ben.
That's those two are my top two.
Kylo Ren.
Just to be different, I'll go Yoda.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Ahsoka.
Ahsoka is probably, as of late, my favorite. She's probably my favorite, like, current characters, like, stories still being told. I just hands down. We'll get into that later. But Yoda, I mean, dude, Yoda's like the master. Yoda is Star Wars. Like, everything from like the reverse speech to just like being that teacher, teaching Luke his lessons. Like, the reason we love Luke Skywalker a lot has to do with Yoda.
Danae.
And he's the one constant.
Yes. Oh, he is. Yeah. Danae.
I think I'm gonna pull whoever said it earlier and say, like, I have two people tied for first place, and that is Han Solo and Boba Fett. Like, both of them, I love those two characters so much. Like, I cannot tell you how much I loved season 2 of The Mandalorian, and I cannot wait for Boba Fett's spinoff. I'm really excited.
All right. Here's mine are tied for 2 as well, and it's right here. This is the Star Wars Marvel comic book. Has the entire thing. This is old. This is a very old comic book, guys. It was the adaptation, which came out before the movie, actually. It has scenes in the comic book that were not in the movie. Very cool. But here is my 2 favorite characters right there, Luke and Leia. All the way. Luke and Leia. That is why I think episode 9 ended perfect. It was the most perfect ending for the series. Mary Jenkins Fry, glad you could join us, Mom.
Hey.
Her favorite memory is taking our 4 boys to the outdoor drive-in to watch Star Wars. Her favorite characters, R2-D2 and C-3PO. Remind me of my boys, always getting into mischief.
I love that.
That is the best comment.
Mom, thank you for watching.
I was hoping somebody was going to say the droids. I was hoping.
Oh, C-3PO. I just always remember, I get teary-eyed when I remember I was at one of the Star Wars celebrations, and Anthony Daniels was on the stage, and he says the best part about playing 3PO, he goes, I'm really going to miss him because everybody deserves a friend like 3PO. And there's nothing truer than that. He's like a dog. You know, dogs are your friends no matter what you do. 3PO is your friend no matter what you do.
Right.
All
You
right.
can tell him to shut up 1,000 times.
R2-D2 is the foul-mouthed one because he's getting bleeped constantly.
Jonathan Wilkinson, solo for Stuart. Oh, there's Jonathan's picture there. That's cool. Never saw that before. All right, guys, we're going to move on.
He's been on the show, Jim.
I know he has.
Jim,
right.
you know, a tiny picture appears next to their name, and that is called a profile picture. And everybody can upload one so that you know what they look like.
Listen, I saw the Star Wars movies in theaters. I don't know these things. These are new things. All right, guys, let me ask you a question real quick. How many languages does C-3PO speak?
6 million.
Did you know that?
7.
I can read
Oh,
that.
close.
7. Close. He was $1 million off.
As
Oh, really?
I didn't know this, as of February 28th, 2017, by the time of The Force Awakens, C-3PO has upgraded his programming to include over 7 million forms of communication.
Wait,
Nice.
So, wait, hold on. So I'm an OTOG. That's why I'm an OTOG.
No, here's the deal.
OTOG.
You're correct, Ben. I found this out this past week. I had to check some information with Lucasfilm about something. This information was never revealed in any of the movies.
I was about to say, they didn't announce it in Force Awakens or anything. That
It
he
was
learned
only
more.
revealed in this tweet from Star Wars back in 2017. So how
Are
do
you
you
not
know
up
that?
to date on the Twitter, Ben?
So I was right.
but that begs the question for me. I want to ask a question to you guys. If that's the case, and he has 7 million forms of communication, would he understand Groot?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sure. Yeah.
It's just a matter
Why
of
not?
time before
I would
Disney,
watch that movie. It sounds entertaining.
it's a matter of time before Disney merges those 2 franchises. One last thing that Derek sent us today, this very cool social media post. May the 4th crossed out. Revenge of the 5th crossed out.
Oh my
This
God.
is the May.
I
Get it?
resent that, but thank you very much.
I love this.
I do too.
So instead of just May the 4th, Mandalorian. This is the May. I love
This is the
it.
May.
All right. I know Ben has. Ryan, have you seen the first episode of The Bad Batch yet?
I watched it today.
All right. Star Wars The Bad Batch, the original animated series, follows the elite and experimental clones of the Bad Batch, first introduced in the Clone Wars, as they find their way in a rapidly changing galaxy in the immediate aftermath of the Clone Wars. Members of the Bad Batch, a unique squad of clones who vary genetically from their brothers in the Clone Army, each possess a singular, exceptional skill that makes them extraordinarily effective soldiers and a formidable crew.
Ooh.
Hey guys, tell me, Ben and Ryan, what did you think of The Bad Batch?
Well, at first I thought the show was called The Bad Bitch, and it was about a young Princess Leia, but
Oh,
just her like kicking ass and all kinds of stuff. But no, it was The Bad Batch, which if you watch the Clone Wars series, they were introduced in the most recent season. Am I correct, Ryan? They didn't.
The first 4 episodes. Yeah.
I couldn't remember if they got introduced in the old school part of the Clone Wars or not. But anyway, so I was really excited. This show was just, it's basically like, hey, here's another season of Clone Wars, everybody, except it's focused on the Bad Batch. So, that's what we all want. That's what we all love. So I was really happy to see that. A lot of returning characters from Clone Wars, of course, focusing a lot more on the Bad Batch, fleshing out their personalities even more, even though we did get a lot of that in the last season of Clone Wars. And I love the first episode. By the way, 75-minute series premiere. I didn't see that coming, but it was a lot of fun. It told a complete story, and sent us into the galaxy on our storyline. And I really liked it. It's also like there's really great play on like explaining and filling in the gaps between basically episode 3 and Star Wars Rebels. We have spoiler alert. We have a young Kanan Jarrus show up at the beginning in the form of Caleb Dune, his prior name, which I thought was pretty cool. So that shows like his response to Order 66 and how he escaped and how his master died and all this kind of stuff, which is stuff that we learn about in Rebels. And so that was really cool to see. And of course, it was Freddie Prinze Jr. again doing his voice. And we'll see if he shows up more in the rest of the Bad Batch. Apparently, there's going to be like 16 episodes of this. So this is no mini series. This is like this is longer than the seasons we're getting right now as far as streaming TV shows go. But anyway, that's my quick hot take. Ryan, take it from there.
You said it all. No, I think you really did. I mean, I think like this was an incredible first episode. Is almost like they were demoing what releasing an animated movie would be like. I love the opening scene. It had so many tie-ins to other Star Wars shows and media from the movies and the other animated shows. Thought it was incredible. The dynamic of the crew is great. There's been some awesome like clone squads that aren't like officially canon from the past, from like Delta Squad to like stuff in the Tartakovsky animated show. But this one's great, and they're really like pushing the ball with it. And there's a really awesome new character who was on Camino, who I'm really curious to see what we're going to get from them later down the season. But like, this is more Clone Wars, and Clone Wars is awesome. Yeah. So I'm digging it, and I think that this is going to go in different areas of the galaxy we haven't seen.
Yeah. One scene I particularly liked was you've got what is it, Admiral Tarkin at this point? He's Admiral, I think.
He's an Admiral.
Yeah, so Tarkin comes in. Of course, we all know Tarkin, and because one of the big questions is like, well, why did they switch to stormtroopers as opposed to clone troopers? And also, why are stormtroopers so terrible at shooting things? And there's a whole discussion between the Kaminoans and Admiral Tarkin about like, well, our clone troopers are, good, great soldiers, and they're super skilled. And he's like, and they're very expensive. And they're like, he's like, we could get, a recruitment force for half the cost. And they're like, yes, but would they stand up to the same skills? And he's like, that remains to be seen. And, all of us Star Wars fans were like, chuckle, chuckle, chuckle. No, they're not,
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun to see that in there, because they're tying up the sinew and the loose ends and the strings in between the prequels and the between the prequel and original trilogy shows, and they're mending it all together, which is what I like to see. Like, I don't necessarily want to see new stuff right now. I want to see stuff that ties everything together. I want to see the inner workings, but that's just me. I liked Solo, so that's, you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
It was cool.
Did you see it?
Yeah, I watched most of it. I have like 15, 20 minutes left to watch, but for what I saw, it's really good. Like you guys were saying, a lot of really awesome cameos and characters. Like Saul Guerrera is in it also from Clone Wars and Rogue One. Yeah, really well done. It's actually bad. I'm really far behind on Clone Wars. I'm like on season 5. I'm slowly watching it, so I haven't gotten to their introduction. So I just started watching it fresh, not knowing who these characters are, and I was already like, "This is great. I'm in."
Let me ask you a question for people who have not watched the Clone Wars, at least not all of it. Is this easy for us to catch up? Us being me.
I think so.
haven't seen any of it, so I
think
Denise,
so.
did you watch any, by the way?
Did you say my name?
What? You act so surprised. Yeah.
Wait, it sounded like you said Denis, and I was like, what?
I think you said.
Did you see
I think you
Bad
said
Batch?
Denisha.
Did you see the Bad Batch?
I did not.
Okay. Cool.
No.
I did not.
I did not.
And Katie, you didn't watch it either, right?
no, I
I
haven't
did
seen
that.
Clone Wars, so that's
Katie,
why.
did you watch it?
No. Well, that's cool. Anything else, guys, about the Bad Batch that we
It's
should be
dope.
expecting?
I think you guys gotta watch it. And I think at the end of the episode, it's like plugging. Go watch Clone Wars season 7. Boom, 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 boom. Almost like at the end of every like WandaVision, it's like see Age of Ultron. So I think it's a gateway. If you're into this, it'll probably entice you to go back and watch even further. Because we know Star Wars, the order's all over the place, so you could probably watch it in any order.
So it doesn't matter if we haven't seen Clone Wars.
I mean, it'll only help.
They do a pretty good job at the beginning of kind of giving you, your parameters without spoon feeding you information. Because it started off just like every Clone Wars episode starts off with like the 1940s, World War II serial announcer, like, when we last met, we're on Camino, where the clones are doing this. That's every episode of Clone Wars starts that way, and they started Bad Batch like that too. So they kind of give you, your setting and then send you off. And as long as you're kind of familiar with the general prequels and the universe, you should be good to go.
Okay.
And
that's actually Tom Kane who does that voice. Fun fact.
Who?
Tom Kane. Big voice actor. He suffered a stroke this past year, so I think he's in recovery. But it was great to hear his voice because he narrates every episode of Clone Wars.
Oh, it's fantastic. We wish him all the best in recovery.
All the best.
The Bad Batch premiered today, May the 4th, on Disney Plus, along with something else kind of cool.
Yeah.
Maggie Simpson in The Force Awakens from its nap. We have a little bit of description here. It is, well, you know what? I don't have it in front of me, so
I don't really know what the description would be.
No, I watched it. I was like, oh, is this going to be like a full like Simpson special? No, it's another Maggie Simpson 3-minute short, which are great. I was just kind of like, ooh, I'm gearing up to watch this Simpson Star Wars special I read about on insertnerdwebsite.com, and it was a 3-minute Maggie Simpson short, which there's a whole run of them. But this one was great because it was just random. It was Maggie at daycare, except everything was Star Wars themed. And it was just a love letter. It was just a Simpsons love letter to Star Wars, which is something we've seen in the past. The Simpsons has done tons and tons of Star Wars stuff. Of course, Fox and
Family Guy too, right?
What?
Family Guy has too.
Family Guy too, yeah. But we're not talking about Family Guy.
Yeah. A Star Wars parody is so much fun, though. Like, I was just going to say, like, I'm not a Family Guy fan, but I love Family Guy Star Wars. It's just great. I want more things like that.
My favorite part of the Family Guy Star Wars is when at the first episode, when he starts to tell the story, he's like, let me tell you the story of Star Wars. Let's start with part 4.
Yeah.
I'm told that the first 3 were just test screenings, and then the first one came out in 1999, and then they all were re-released after that. So If you guys, I mean, you're fortunate, Jim, to see the test screenings for these
guys,
huge films.
It wasn't good enough for Lucas. He had to change it. Come on.
Here's what's cool, though. Yeah, I know. Here's what's cool about like the way I experienced Star Wars. I did see them each in the theaters. The first one at the drive-in theater, the next two at indoor theaters. But it was cool because Star Wars was such a gigantic force of nature back in the 70s and early 80s. And then it kind of waned a little bit through like the late 80s. You know, everyone had the Star Wars toys. And in the 90s, it started waning big time. But then something started happening in the mid-90s. They started re-releasing Star Wars back into theaters. The George Lucas's his reimagined Star Wars, you know, with the special editions. And all of a sudden, this was before the age of massive social media. People started getting a buzz about Star Wars again. And then Empire Strikes Back, which I think is the best of the three.
Amen.
You know, well, I mean, overall, but also the special editions, because he tinkered with it the least. You know, he just added some extra scenes with, you know, the Hoth, the what's the monster in the cave?
Wampa.
Because I get that mixed up with the Wombats back home.
Womprats.
Okay.
I used to blast Womprats in my T16.
The Wombats.
They can't be more than 2 meters.
So it was cool to see it start building, and then one day it was announced, brand new Star Wars coming out, and everybody just went berserk. And back then, in 1998, the very first Star Wars Phantom Menace trailer dropped. It was during Adam Sandler's The Waterboy, of all things. Everybody went to see that movie, Adam Sandler's The Waterboy, just to see that trailer. And then after that, people started going back and leaving as soon as the trailer showed, because they didn't want to see The Waterboy. They just wanted to see the Star Wars trailer.
He still raked in all that cash. That's why.
Yeah, it was a phenomenon. So anyways, that's how I remember it. And Katie, you saw the Maggie short, right?
Nope.
Oh, okay.
I saw it like on when I went on Disney Plus today.
Yep.
I just saw it listed and it showed up in like the because you like Star Wars like thing. So I just saw it, but I didn't know it was like just released today. Mm-hmm. I just thought, oh, it's showing all the Star Wars stuff that exists on Disney Plus because my roommate and I are doing a rewatch, and that's why. So I didn't have to watch it. I'm not really a Simpsons fan, but I might watch it if it's like just a small short. So
yeah, it's cute, you know.
Yeah.
It's a little.
All right, so there are a few different Star Wars news pieces we're going to talk about. I know that Ben, since today is his anniversary, he is not going to be able to be with us the entire show today. So before Ben leaves, though, I do want Ben to read his installments to our 50 biggest moments in Star Wars. And but since he's looking that up, and Ben, you are numbers
22 to 26.
22 to 26.
Whoa.
Thank you.
I mean, he probably knows his, but
okay.
All right.
So, well, the way this was described to me is this is Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary.
Yes, not just Star Wars.
50 moments from Lucasfilm. So I took that and ran with it because, as I mentioned before, due to my older brother also being kind of nerdy, although he wasn't really aware of it at the time.
Yeah.
He just knew he liked this stuff. Hey, Derek!
Hey, guys.
And so my brother exposed me to all kinds of stuff, and Lucasfilm was responsible for a lot of those things. So my top 5 Lucasfilm moments for the Lucasfilm's 50th anniversary. Of course, Empire Strikes Back. I love you. I know. I mean, how can you get better than that? That's just, and that I believe was improvised because they were on set, they were working on it. She was supposed to say, I love you. He's supposed to say, I love you too. They did it a couple times. It just didn't really feel right. And I can't remember if it was Harrison Ford didn't tell him or Lucas was just like, just do something. Or, you know, whoever was, you know.
I believe he did have a conversation with Lucas and some others before doing it in the scene.
Yeah.
According to an interview with Harrison.
Yeah. And she just goes, I love you. He goes, I know. And that's the most Han Solo thing to say. My next moment, also Harrison Ford. If you love Indiana Jones like I do, and you watch the Indiana Jones trilogy because there's only 3 Indiana Jones movies. In the first Indiana Jones movie, he says, there's a big snake in the plane. And that's what sets us off with this whole adventure of Indiana Jones hating snakes. And that comes to play, of course, later in the film. But it's just the way Harrison Ford, he's such this like gravitas actor and has these hilarious lines that he delivers so perfectly. It's so great. So that's Raiders of the Lost Ark. Of course, the song Magic Dance from Labyrinth. David Bowie, Dance Magic Dance.
I don't know this one.
You don't know Labyrinth, Jim?
I don't remember Magic Dance.
The song.
You remind me of the
song in Labyrinth.
What babe?
Babe with the power.
What power?
Power of voodoo.
Hoodoo?
I feel like I'm there now.
Remind me of the babe. Dance, magic dance.
Ben, you look and sound exactly like David Bowie right now.
And you can only see down to here. And
We'll just do a Con Guy remake of Labyrinth for Jim.
My next moment, coming back to Star Wars, coming into the new era, I was 13 going on 14 when The Phantom Menace came out. I was prime. I saw The Phantom Menace 9 times in the theater when it came out. I didn't care. It was more Star Wars. It was only later that I was like, hey, that wasn't that great. But I think anymore, I would rather go back and watch episode 1 than episodes 2 or maybe 3. 3 is a toss-up for me. But Clone Wars made me appreciate them more. That being said, the Duel of the Fates lightsaber fight in episode 1 is probably the greatest lightsaber fight, even better than Anakin versus Obi-Wan. I think it's up there. Like they're fighting there. So
yeah.
Also, that's what we lightsaber fought to in my first dance at my wedding.
At a glance, Ben, I thought you two were action figures in that picture.
Who's to say we're not? And the last moment, the number 5 for me, in no particular order, for top 50 Lucasfilm moments, is Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the last Indiana Jones movie that exists.
One coming out next year. Sorry.
That's the cup of a carpenter.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. It's the culmination of the whole movie. You know, he's in there in the room with all the different cups, and the one guy chooses poorly, and then, you know, he looks around, and this is what Indiana Jones is. He's an adventurer, he's action, he's a lover, he's a fighter, he's everything, he's all of the above, but he's also wise and insightful, and he knows, you know, he just knows, he has intuition, and that was just such a great scene. So they're my 5.
That's great. And just to repeat, you said that's the cup of a carpenter.
That's the cup of a carpenter. I believe that's the line.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Fantastic line. Thanks. Thank you so much for that, Ben. A couple more comments real quick before we move on. Brad says, I convinced my parents back in the day to upgrade their stereo surround sound because of Return of the Jedi. I love watching the Endor speeder bike scene on full blast. Oh, I know. I
love that scene.
The best.
Jonathan Wilkinson, my favorite Star Wars moment was when Han shot first.
Did that
Yeah.
All right, and can we just address this? Ben is correct about 3 Indiana Jones movies, and that's all there is. There might possibly, we'll see next year, be a 4th. Fingers are crossed that
5th.
Well,
4th.
Sorry, 4th. My bad.
Yeah.
4th.
There were 3 Indiana Jones movies. Then there was a fan film.
There was a whole Young Indiana Jones series.
Yeah.
2 Lego games. Hell, a 3rd Lego game. And then there might be another one.
But don't knock the Lego games, because Lego games are so much fun.
And that comes to my list. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 are all Lego games. So strap in, you guys, because I think that's when Lucasfilm took off.
All right. So, Mr. Ben Cleaver, we're going to move on to Jake's going to take us through some collectibles, and me and Ryan are going to go through some news here.
I'm going to take my leave of you now. Hey, somebody asked me why I'm drinking out of this red flute.
Why are you drinking out of that red flute, Ben?
Because whenever Ben Cleaver shows up, it's always a party.
Ben.
Happy anniversary, bud.
Hi, Ben.
Happy anniversary, Ben.
Happy anniversary,
Bye,
Ben.
Ben. We'll see you next week.
Happy anniversary, Bree, if she can hear us.
Bree, too. Bye-bye, guys. I think we have somebody joining the podcast, right? Do we?
George Lucas.
Oh, yeah. Dun dun dun. Cheeseman.
Hey.
Jeez, man.
I would have been like, bye, bitch. When been
All right.
Cheeseman.
Real quick before we go into the news, Con Guy Derek and Cheeseman, why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Derek Sams. I'm the brother of. Hang on, let's try and point this. That's my sister down there. Sometimes we call ourselves the Samlings. I'm a regular on theconguy.com and the Con Guy Show. Take it away, Luke.
And I have my lightsaber as well. I'm Luke Cheeseman, as you can see here. Screenwriter and social media director for theconguy.com.
So glad you guys could join us here in the second
I
half
was
of
gonna
the
say
show.
welcome, guys.
Yeah. Wait. Here we
There
go.
we go.
Hold on, I can
I feel left out. I just have these glowing headphones.
Look at this. Ooh.
Derek,
I just have a blaster.
I'm just a pilot.
Hang on, I've got a cardboard tube over here.
I can't shake them.
All right. My lightsaber goes with one of my biggest moments of all time once we get to it. But hey, so I'm talking, and Jake, before we go into the products, I just want to talk to Ryan for a second. Hey, oh, wait. Amanda, you are late. Where you been?
hopefully watching Star Wars.
Shout out
That's
to
the
Amanda.
acceptable excuse today.
I know.
Was that a Back to the Future reference she was doing? Damn, I'm late.
So now let me ask Ryan. Hey,
I'm late
Ryan,
for school.
Yeah.
and maybe Jake. So Jake's going to take us through some of a bunch of the Star Wars products, at least a sampling, because a lot of them were released this past few days. But news. I didn't really get tons of news that was dropped today. Because you and I were talking yesterday. We were. By the way,
we
Amanda,
were
Brad says
excited.
happy birthday.
We were like, oh my God, there's going to be all this stuff that drops. Or is there going to be a teaser? Is there going to be a poster? And we didn't
Wait a
get any
second,
of that.
Amanda. Let's hope that your mom's not watching. She's going to surprise her mom in Florida for Mother's Day.
Spoiler.
What do you
Okay,
mean no news?
So Ryan, what were you saying?
We thought we were going to get like a poster or teaser or something, but we were also like, you know what, guys, they have a new show coming out. Like, they don't want to overshadow the new show, which I don't think they did. And so maybe we were foolish to think that. But there were still some really cool announcements. I will just cover the stuff that's like on Disney Plus right now. We mentioned two of them earlier. Bad Batch, new animated spinoff, as well as this like Simpsons Maggie special, The Force Awakens from its nap. There's also these two other things that are on there. There's one called like Biodomes, where it's just like these landscapes famous from the movies, and it's almost like the best like laptop screensaver ever that you could probably just throw on. It's like this peaceful background, but there's like one of Hoth, there's one of Crate, there's one of like Luke's Island in The Last Jedi, there's one of some places in The Mandalorian. Really cool, and it was kind of peaceful to just have on. I had it on the background all throughout work today. They also have one of those for something very similar to some of the vehicles. So it's just called Star Wars Vehicles, and they tour you through the Millennium Falcon. You get to see like every nook and cranny of the Falcon, as well as like a Star Destroyer. So there's some really cool stuff they're putting on Disney Plus, trying to like fill up their series category there. And also just some highlights, like some more behind the scenes featurettes they kind of added to some of the movies. There's Empire of Dreams, which this is actually something that's already been out, but they just kind of re-put it on Disney Plus. Just this 2.5 hour documentary, deep dive into the original three movies with George Lucas. You can check that out on there. And the last one that I saw, anyway, you might have saw something else, Jim, was a conversation with the Masters. This was again, this is with Irvin Kershner and George Lucas. It's like a 28-minute, just like little mini doc of them talking about their experience transitioning to Empire Strikes Back, and how Irvin Kershner, who, by the way, Temple grad, that's where I went. He taught at USC, where George Lucas went, and George Lucas handpicked him. As this is a guy who hadn't like done like a lot of huge stuff in Hollywood. He handpicked him to do Empire Strikes Back, and just the whole like decision making behind that, and also the two masters of like Obi-Wan going to Yoda. That was almost like George Lucas going to Irvin Kershner. So you guys can check that all on Disney Plus. Jim, what news did you see?
I did see a little bit, but I just want to answer a question from one of our guests. Chris and Gus, are you guys just retconning to deny the existence of Kingdom of the Crystal Skull?
The existence of what?
Exactly. It's all we're
What?
doing.
I don't know what that is.
They
And
are.
she did say, I mean, I wouldn't blame you. All right. Oh, wait. Amanda, she wanted to wish happy anniversary to Ben Cleaver and Brianna Rose Cleaver. Hey, Amanda,
You just missed him.
you just missed him. He was on for the first 45 minutes of the show, and we showed a little bit of their dance on their wedding day, their first dance as a married couple. So I don't have tons of news, but here's a little tiny bit. The Smithsonian has announced that they now have a full-size Star Wars X-Wing starfighter. The starfighter's wings stretch 37 feet. It does not fly, but it was built for the 2019 film Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker in the Smithsonian. That is awesome. Here's something that's also cool. And
Is that the Air and Space Museum?
Yeah. No. At the Smithsonian. Is that the Air and Space Museum?
Yeah. Well, there's multiple Smithsonians. That's why I was asking.
Yeah,
I would imagine that's where it's at. Yeah, I would imagine that's where. And Luke, there was this video I was trying to share, but I don't know how to share it. Let me see if I can do it real quick. Share.
It better be a lightsaber.
I don't know if I can share it, but to celebrate May the 4th, Disney Parks has shared a look at their real lightsaber. Did you guys see this today?
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Okay.
This is from their brand new Star Wars Galactic Star Cruiser. The video shows Rey, a character dressed as Rey, turning around, and the lightsaber comes out the top. If we can get that before the end of the show, we will show you guys. But that was a freaking amazing. Katie, what were you going to say?
I was going to say, I literally... Well, first of all, of course, I freaked out because I was like,
she just got a lightsaber, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.
She just bought one.
Kylo Ren, I just spent $250 on one, and now I'm like,
I kind of think, that okay, Luke, I sent you a link, so I kind of think that it won't be for sale. Which sounds kind of crazy. This is Disney we're talking about. I think it's part.
I'll bet you they'll cave. I mean, that's a lot of money.
Maybe.
Not for sale.
Maybe it is for sale. I don't know, but right now it's only in the theme park experience, is what I think. But also, what was also announced today is that the Galactic Cruiser, the Star Wars all-inclusive 2-day resort experience, which was supposed to open this year, it's been postponed till next year. And you know what? That's to be expected. COVID kind of slowed everything down. They weren't going to have a lot of people probably filling it up. They want to start with a bang. So wait, Cheeseman, show it to us.
Do you want it with or without sound?
No, yeah, let's show this. We can have the sound. I don't think this will get us in trouble.
Okay.
Can you do full screen?
Give me that full screen.
This is good enough. Isn't it awesome?
Oh, how is that possible?
That is fantastic. That's so cool. I'm so excited about that.
Science is amazing.
I know.
Literally, I was having this conversation with my coworkers before I went to Disneyland. Like,
we watched that frame by frame.
When are they going to make a real lightsaber? Like, I literally was talking about this on May the 2nd with my coworkers. And then look what they drop on May the 4th. Like,
wow.
Like the biggest mic drop you could make on. But like, yeah, you don't get like a trailer or anything, but I bet we know how to please y'all. Just a guess.
It's so in cool. Florida, 2022. Disney World.
And next year, did it say 2022?
Yep.
Yes.
That's it. Actually, this last year went so fast. 2022 will be here in no time.
Mm-hmm.
I hate saying that because the years are just peeling off and we'll all be dead soon. Oh, well.
Good night, everybody.
We might as well enjoy the ride.
Happy May the 4th from Jim Fry.
Okay.
Yeah. We got more layers to our onions, Jim.
Okay. We are going to and Ryan, did you see any other big news items that were popping today?
Those were the big ones, Jim.
I think that is the big ones. Let me look. There's one
I
more
saw
spot.
big news today.
What is your big news?
Well, it's not Star Wars, but Marvel dropped a brand new Loki trailer. So just wait for Monday, June 14th, because I cannot wait to discuss this show with you guys once it's out. Anyways, back to Star Wars.
Okay.
I can hardly wait.
Oh, wait, what? May the 4th
That was
also
good.
marks a perfect occasion to add to your ever-growing assortment of must-have merch with brand new collectors from the likes of Adidas, Herschel, blah, blah, blah. I don't know how to say that. And a worldwide honor of Star Wars Day, tons and tons of stuff you can find on shopdisney.com. Jake's, oh, wait, gamers can also save today on fan favorite Star Wars games like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. So a lot of the games are on sale today as well. Yeah, I guess that's about it for news. But Star Wars, if you go to StarWars.com, they got a lot of fun stuff you can do to celebrate the holiday. The holiday. Isn't it great we call this a holiday? Pretty soon, this will be the next holiday on the official calendar. Jake, what were you going to say?
Well, I was just going to say this isn't new news, but I don't know if you guys ever talked about Disney Plus also added some old things that previously hadn't released, like they call them like vintage Star Wars. So it's like the Ewok made-for-TV movies that came out in the 80s. Yeah, they have both of those.
Are they going to give us some unedited original trilogies? Because that's what I want.
Not yet.
Probably not. But they have the Ewok movies and they have the Ewok cartoon from the 80s. And they didn't put the holiday special on it, but they put the animated segment, which is actually the first appearance of Boba Fett ever in the Star Wars universe, is in that animated segment. So they have it up there. It's called like the heroic Wookiee or something like that. So I don't know if you guys have seen that, but check it out. It's really cool.
Brad said, awesome. Harrison Ford piercing Jimmy Fallon's ear last night on air was hilarious. Jonathan Wilkinson said, Chris and Guest, wait, what's Kingdom Skull? Sounds like a Star Trek thing.
Yes, it was an episode of the original series that was lost.
Amanda Yullen, did you hear about that guy who built a life-size AT-AT in his yard? It was so cool. The eternal debate over if it's AT-AT or AT-AT.
I was just going to say that. Okay. So
back in the 80s, they called it AT-AT.
The cartoon, the commercial, they said AT-AT.
Yep.
The old Kenner commercials.
On a side note, because she did mention them, I went on Rise of Skywalker yesterday.
Oh, yeah?
Okay, we get it, Kawamoto. You
tell
went.
Tell us about it.
Have you read it? Jim, did you write it? You wrote it, right?
No. I haven't.
How
dope
in
was
Florida,
it?
right
I've watched
before
that video
COVID.
1,000 times.
Yeah.
Wait, Jake, have you written it?
No, we were there right before it opened.
Katie,
Okay.
you're the only one here who's written it.
Wow.
Jim, you're not listening.
I wrote it.
We wrote it over a year ago before
We
COVID
wrote it
in Florida.
on
We talked about
January
it.
1st, 2020. Yeah.
In Florida,
Also,
though,
from
right?
what I hear, Katie, you're still the only one who's written it.
Derek, today, what are you guys going to go on it?
Let me. You haven't seen Star Wars, so it's not going to spoil it too much. And I promise, even though you haven't been on the ride, I won't give away a lot. But they have massive AT-ATs. I say AT-AT, but you guys say it's AT-AT, so I'll say AT-AT. They have massive AT-ATs that you go underneath in the game. In the ride, not the game. It felt like a game, though.
It was so brilliant.
It's honestly my favorite attraction I've ever ridden in my life.
Wow.
It is so
It
good.
is,
I'm sweating listening
it
to
is
this right now.
next level. I was like speechless and almost crying during this ride. So thankfully we were able to get on. We didn't luck out with getting boarding passes because this system is really messed up. But thankfully I had some friends in there who helped us out a little bit. So that we were very thankful for that because it was honestly the biggest thing we were hoping to do.
All right, Danae.
It honestly, I mean, it's been over a year now since I wrote it, but it's still just fresh in my brain as if I just got off of it. It just shows how amazing Disney can be and how it is worth the price of admission to go there because they make things next level. They bring their magic to it. Derek and I wrote it with his wife, our brother, and our niece, who also it was like 9 years old at the time and loves Star Wars. And it was like we were just speechless when we stepped off the ride because we were just like, guys, we just lived Star Wars.
Yeah,
it was brilliant, and it was worth waking up at Derek. What was it, like 5 a.m. to get there to get into the virtual
queue? It was crazy early because we had to be at the park when it opened and check in on the app to try and get in like the virtual list.
So
or
we went on
I
the
forget
day
what
of
they call it.
extra magic hours for resort guests. So that meant getting there at like 6:30, 7 a.m.
It was before sunrise, definitely.
It was dark when we were like sprinting across Hollywood Studios, just dragging Hannah behind us to get there in time. But
That's
so
awesome.
like it's worth going the trip to Disney just to ride Rise of the Resistance.
Very much so.
Oh my gosh. Oh, I want to ride it so bad, so bad. Hey,
And
Ryan.
$250 for a lightsaber, so they get all the money there that day.
Hey, Ryan, Stylin' Moose says, miss you, Ryan, on SEN. The new guy is boring.
Whoa. Take it easy on the new guy.
Whoa.
He's just
Wait, what's
starting
SEN?
out. Come on.
What's SEN?
SEM was a show I was really fortunate enough to produce and co-host on the past 6 months, just from November through the end of March. And it was also a show I was a fan of for many years. And they also started some stuff at AfterBuzz TV, and they kind of moved on to their own thing. But SEN Live still every day. They're live, I think, like 10 a.m. Pacific. But back to this show. No, thank you for that comment, Silent Moose.
That's cool. That's cool. All right. So, in addition to a little bit of news, plus the Bad Batch, plus stuff about a brand new lightsaber, the Smithsonian news, Jake, a bunch of stuff. Perhaps the biggest news is all the products and collectibles that were released this week. And I'm going to go through this. And before I do, though, I got to ask a question of somebody. Hey, Katie, are you going to hang out with us?
I was just going to say, me and my roommate are supposed to watch A New Hope, and we need to get that started soon because we work tomorrow. So I don't want to ditch you guys for Star Wars, but I'm going to ditch you guys for Star Wars.
Okay, Katie?
I think today of all days, we understand.
So, Katie, we are celebrating the 50 biggest moments of 50 years of Lucasfilm. Numbers 6 through 11 happen to be your submissions. Could you let us know what those are?
Do you also want me to read my roommates?
Yes, please.
Okay. All right. So I gave 6. So I literally asked if we were allowed to do anything in Lucasfilm and not just Star Wars. And right at the same time as Ben submitted his that included ones that were not Star Wars. So I was like, okay, it's all good to go then. So my first one that I put was Captain EO. As a Disneyland fan and a George Lucas fan, I don't know how Captain EO could not be mentioned. If you guys went when it opened, they also brought it back a few years back. It's the Michael Jackson short that they did at the theater in Tomorrowland, and it's brilliant. It's just, it has everything that you could possibly want. It's like a theatrical experience for a small little theater. So definitely check it out if you haven't seen it. I don't know who hasn't seen it, but anyway. And then my second one was the train scene in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. It is one of my favorite scenes in movies ever, and it's the first thing that comes to mind when I think of Indiana Jones is that whole entire train scene. There's kind of everything. There's the fear of it. There's the action. It's got it all. And then I forgot that River Phoenix played young Indiana Jones, by the way, Jim, until you put that note on the thing. So totally forgot about that. And then my third one is, and I actually just watched this movie again yesterday because I'm watching one Star Wars movie a day for 8 days.
Oh, you're such a good fan.
9 days. And I am watching them in order of episodes just because I wanted to get the first 3 done before I watched the rest of it. But the next one is the final moments of Revenge of the Sith, where Anakin turns and his fight / his defeat by Obi-Wan. I remember the first time I saw it, even though we all knew what was happening, it was heartbreaking to watch Obi-Wan's whole reaction to that fight sequence. And it's great. And it's the moment he becomes Vader. So how could we not like that moment? And then the next one is, I think this goes without saying, and I'm glad that I have the honor of saying this one, but of course, I Am Your Father.
The biggest moment in Star Wars
history. I mean, people are still filming their kids reacting to that news now. Like when they're showing their kids for the first time, they always show their reactions. So obviously it goes without saying. And then this was a little bit of a stretch, but Lucasfilm was actually who started the Land Before Time franchise in 1988. He was the one who released the first Land Before Time. It's gone on to other production companies since, but they started it, and it has had 14 films, most of them straight to video, but 14 films, a TV show, and a video game, all because Lucasfilm jump-started it in 1988.
That's fantastic.
Also, Littlefoot's mother's death literally crushed me as a kid, so it gets an honorable mention for that. And last but not least, I don't even care if people don't agree with me, but the Porgs, because I freaking love the Porgs. They were the cutest thing. I'm all about the little creatures in Star Wars. I don't know if it's
Ryan, don't you have a Porg there with you?
I don't have a Porg with me. I have a Grogu, but I'm a big Porg guy. That sounded so weird. I'm a Porg fan. I'm a Porg fan. Porga fan. Keep going, Katie. Keep going.
Yeah, and then I'll move on to my roommates, because when we needed more to make 50, I asked my roommate, who was a huge Star Wars fan as well. She's a massive fan of Vader. He's her favorite. So she put his final battle in Rogue One, because obviously who of us did not get hyped at that last moment of Rogue One when Vader shows up? It's great. Yeah. Also, and of course, people have their thoughts about the new trilogy, but my roommate also was saying, when we find out that Rey is a Palpatine.
Yep.
Obviously blew all of our minds. Anyway, and then you can't have a Lucasfilm list without mentioning Indiana Jones and the giant boulder running away from it in the beginning of Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Absolutely.
Iconic. It's in the ride. It's iconic. And the cameos at the end of Mandalorian Season 2.
Who?
Yes.
Who are you talking about?
Luke Skywalker.
Yes.
Obviously. So that was probably the biggest thing. Oh, that's great. And I had an honorable mention, and I was like, mention your honorable mention, and I'm trying to remember what it was, and I totally forgot. Sean Connery, rest in peace, in The Last Crusade. Just Sean Connery in The Last Crusade.
Great pick.
His character is one of my favorite movie characters of all time, and he added such a good dynamic with Harrison Ford in that movie. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a couple of comments. Style Moose, subscribing to this one out. We love that. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks, Style and Moose.
Okay, Katie, this one's for you. Amanda hated Captain EO. Sorry, Katie.
It's fine.
All right. Jonathan Wilkinson. Katie coming in hot with the Indiana Jones.
I watched Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade probably once a week when I was a kid. So I love those movies.
Narcolepsy 27. I think that's the best screen name I've seen in a long time.
Yeah, I love
He's his father. We just ruined it for him.
Oh, sorry.
All right. And Luke, Amanda's got a comment there. If you can messaging. Amanda, where are you messaging it? Just let us know. And because
it's just saying it's proof that they're pronounced at and not at.
Wait, Ryan.
Look, I think it's both. I think it's both. Like, I think I say aunt. My mom says aunt. Like, I think it's both. I've heard both in the movies. I've heard or in the shows. Like, I think it's either or, right?
Just to piggyback off of that, if it is pronounced AT-AT and not AT-AT, then how do you pronounce ATST?
Thank you.
Also,
Thank you, Danae.
Also,
ATST? Did you do ATST?
What do you guys?
Is that what you call it?
R2D2 C3PO.
Well, Katie, just dropping mics.
Here's
just
one.
dropping mics.
Do you guys say Han Solo or Han Solo?
Han.
Because 3PO and Lando both say Han.
They do. They do.
Yeah, but do we believe anything? Anyway,
don't trust a droid.
Brad
You're not going to
wants
trust
to know.
3PO, Jim, after all that?
I love 3PO.
No, you trust Lando, Jim.
Maybe different planets have different dialects.
Yeah.
And
hey, Brad wants to know, is there a scene in any of the Star Wars films that you can watch over and over like 50 billion times and still not be tired of it? There is one that I can mention.
All 5 of my top 50.
Okay, and we're going to get to yours in just a second. Brad, I'm going to tell you, there's one scene I can watch over and over again. It hits me in the gut and puts tears in my eyes every single time when Luke stands in front of the twin sons on as a farm boy, not knowing what he's about to get himself into, wishing for the future. Oh my gosh, what a scene. What a scene. All right. Hey, Luke, did you get the Facebook Messenger from Amanda? If not, I will look for it. And Luke, it looks like you've got something loaded up for us right there. What is that?
Well, this has to go with some other stuff I'll be talking about. But one thing I did load that I could talk about. So I think the actress who did the Rey thing for the lightsaber thing that came out, she was actually somebody from the theme park, because I was like, she looked familiar, and I went back and looked at her Instagram, and I'm pretty sure that this is the same actress that works the park. So they hired, somebody that works, there regularly as Rey to be the person doing the lightsaber.
How Cheeseman remembers every face he's ever seen.
He's got connections.
I mean, that's her, right?
Yeah, that's her.
Okay.
I
Did
don't
you
know.
ask her? Did you ask her what her last name was? Okay, sorry.
We got a hookup.
Did you ask her what her last name was? Ray. Ray who?
Yeah, I should have.
Ray from nowhere.
Yeah.
No.
Katie, from all of us to all of you, may the 4th be with you always, and thank you for being with us today. Have a great viewing of A New Hope, the best movie of all time.
Have a good night, and if anybody after they're done watching the show wants to go through my live tweets, I've been live tweeting and my rewatch of it. So,
good.
Yeah.
So and wait, Katie, what's your Twitter so they can follow you, because it's not showing up on the screen?
Oh yeah, KT_Christine CHRISTINE across all social media and Twitch. I just hit my 1-year Twitch affiliate anniversary, which means my 1 year of getting paid to Twitch stream. So I will hopefully be Twitch streaming soon. I got some new hardware to try out. So join me hopefully tomorrow or Thursday while I celebrate. And I will see you later.
Cool. Bye. Cool. See you, Katie.
See you, Katie.
Yeah. Ryan, did you do a brief dance as well?
I think I can float. There was some. I was sorry if I was slightly distracted. There was a little bit of. Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! A year ago today. Who would have thought? Woo! I had a.
Thanks for showing that, Luke, because I've never seen it before.
I'm flustered.
We never show that on our show.
Oh, do you show it often?
It's like the Paul Rudd clip that he does every time he goes on Conan.
From Mac and Me.
Yeah.
Wait, is Luke going to say my line? From Brad.
I already did when I first came in. Is that what he's talking about?
What's that?
I was like, bye, bitch.
Oh.
All right.
It's a family show. Come on.
Yeah, all right, Amanda, we'll check our personal Facebook messengers. But right now we are going to go into Jake's specialty. Here we go.
Yeah.
Jake.
Show us toys, Jake.
So Jake, what I've done is I've loaded up a bunch of guys for the past couple of weeks. Jake and Brad have been doing nothing but like toy shopping and showing toys.
We need help.
You guys need help. It's pretty ridiculous, but pretty awesome. And so I've been able to grab just a sampling of some of those toys that have been coming out. And this is not to mean that Jake has bought all these toys, but he's going to kind of take us through some of the toys that have been announced. A lot of it has been announced on Hasbro Pulse, which is going on all week, and other things. So Jake, I didn't have time to put big fancy backgrounds and all these things, so we'll just start right here and just kind of tell us what we're looking at.
Yeah, I actually showed him on camera earlier. That I actually just found that today. That's the new Black Series Boba Fett action figure. His appearance in Return of the Jedi. So if you're a super nerd, you know the little differences, and just the amount of detail. It's amazing. Yeah. So That's really cool. That's my daughter Zoe. She's celebrating today, May the 4th. Her first May the 4th. So she's already very skilled with the lightsaber. She just needs to learn where to put her hands on.
Is it pretty light? I'm surprised she can hold that up.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's plastic, whatever. It's just like a. Oh, is that like a?
Oh my gosh,
poster?
you guys!
Yeah.
How awesome
really
was
cool.
the art? The art that's come out is incredible.
This is like a. Is it a print or is it just like a?
I think it's a print that you ordered this. I thought, Jake.
I didn't know.
Oh, okay.
But it's really cool though.
Remember, this was the print we saw at Star Wars Celebration.
Oh yeah, you're right. They had a big mural of that, didn't they? Yeah, that's really cool. It's just kind of like a collage of a bunch of the characters from
Why does Luke look like a girl on it, though?
Why does Han look like Emilio Estevez?
Right?
You also got Ahsoka and the Bad Batch down there. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. These are some new releases they showed today. They're the Star Wars Vintage Collection action figures. They have that old school style with the big old school style card with the big Lucasfilm 50th logo in the corner. So that's the Death Star droid, the droid you see actually in the Sandcrawler at the beginning of New Hope. So that's really cool. And there you have the Tusken Raider, the same kind of card. And you got from Return of the Jedi, you have Luke on Endor with his poncho and helmet and all that.
That's a cool Luke. I've not seen that one before.
Yeah, that's really cool. A lot of cool accessories with that one.
Yep.
This is awesome. This is the Razor Crest. This is the big fan-backed project that HasLab was doing, and they've just, as it's been going on, they already got it fully funded, so they're gonna get them eventually out to people. This is just an updated picture. It looks like it's the Jawas like dismantling it, like in the second episode. Just the amount of detail and all the different compartments and things you can move around and take off and stuff. Super.
Hey,
super
Jake, what do you mean by a HasLab product that's
Hasbro has a thing called HasLab, which they have these ideas and say, hey, we want to make this really cool project, but basically they want to make sure enough people want it and will fund it before they go into production. So they say, we're going to, from this date to this date, if you're going to order it, you have to order it, and then once it's cut off, we're not getting it from us. You're gonna have to get it from someone on eBay or something.
Oh,
so they funded it like within a couple days, I think, way faster than previous ones they have. So you get a lot of exclusive things with it, like exclusive figures and just the amount of, like I said before, the amount of detail and all the accessories and stuff. It's very cool.
That's awesome. And by the way, Jake, just tell me when to go to the next photo.
Oh, yeah, you can go.
Is that assembled back together?
Yeah.
Right there? Yeah.
Uh-huh.
What was your question, Luke?
If it assembles back together, so it's the pieces, but you can put the pieces back on.
Yep. You can take all the pieces off. You can open the cockpit.
I like that.
I love that you see the Jawas down there. The Jawas sitting there.
The cool thing about it too. The cool thing about it too is that as they were getting the funding, they said, like, okay, if we reach this amount of people, then we'll add this exclusive figure that'll come with it. And then they got that far. They're like, okay, then we'll add this one too. So it comes with the Mandalorian, Grogu, and Jawa, and all the stuff. So
nice, very cool. All right,
this is the Black Series helmet, and one of the.
Oh my god!
I forget which one that is. That's not the.
That looks like Boba.
Kind of, yeah. Is that the right color though? I don't know. It might be one of the other characters from Mandalorian season 2. I'm colorblind, so don't ask me. But it's a
little bit of a green tint, 2021 Hasbro. So
okay,
hard to tell.
Yeah, but yeah, they have these highly detailed, like movie quality helmets you can buy, and they have like X-wing helmets. They have Luke's helmet, and they've had all these different Stormtrooper helmets. So that's just the newest one they announced today, which is a new Mando helmet.
And this is life size.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
I think it even has like a maybe voice changer in it and stuff. Like
you can wear it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
Oh, that's so cool.
And so this is a fun thing they did with the vintage style action. They call it retro style, and a lot of it in the collecting world. A lot of really sought after things are prototypes and like early releases. So they made these to look like they are prototypes, like the first ones off the assembly line, like test shots.
Hey, just for those who can't see this,
sorry. It's a Boba Fett figure, but it's all different colors. Like all the arms and legs and head and body, they're all different colors.
Yeah. It's like the game Cootie.
Right.
Is what it looks like. And you've just assembled your different Boba Fetts.
Right.
And
what's fun about this one is that if you order it or whatever, pre-order it, you don't know which version you're going to get. You're going to get some variation of that. And it's just a fun thing that they did that because people like that kind of stuff. They like to have, exclusives that are unique. So,
and do you know who's selling this?
That's from Hasbro. I don't know if that's going to be they did one last year with Darth Vader. And it might have been a Target exclusive. I'm not sure.
Cool. I love that.
Are you going to get one of those?
Maybe. I'll see. It's one of those things that, like, if I see it in the store, I might be like, yeah, but I'm not gonna go on my way to get it.
What's this?
Same thing. Like I don't like, this is cool, but I don't really collect a lot of the Clone Wars stuff. This is one of the Clone Wars. I forget what the character's name is. Captains from
Rex.
Clone Wars.
Is this Captain Rex, Ryan?
Captain Rex.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I can't tell from the helmet. The helmet actually.
Or is that Fives? Is it 5 because he has the hand on
Oh,
his
that
thing?
might be 5. Yeah, the helmet
Might be
actually is not
Fives.
Rex. I think you're right.
Yeah,
It's 5.
So I think that's 5s. But yeah, very cool. This is the vintage collection figures. So these are 3 3/4 inch figures that are super articulate. You know, you can move them around a lot and very highly detailed. So that's a lot of fun. Go ahead, next one. Yeah, that's the same figure, just with the helmet.
Oh, it's the same figure with the helmet on? Oh, that looks so cool, though.
Yep.
Right.
And there you have a close-up version of one of the Jawas that comes with that Razor Crest vehicle.
Oh, it comes with, it's not separate?
He's got the, I think they're actually going to sell them separately too, but originally that was the surprise that they were going to add it into that pack with the Razor Crest. That's so cool. It's just he's got the soft goods cloak, and he has the egg, the Suga.
That's the packaging of what we just saw.
Echo. Okay.
Oh, so that's so interestingly enough, you guys. I mean, Echo is one of the Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Yep.
Yeah, which just dropped today. All right, this next thing is a little bit different, Jake. I love this.
Yep, this is from Beeline Creative, their Geeky Tiki line. This is a
I love that so much.
Jim put that in there.
It's a land speeder. It's Luke's land speeder tiki mug, and he comes with 2 shot glasses, and they're in the shape of Luke and R2. And that's and you can either you can put the drink in it, obviously, or you can also store them into the mug as well for display.
And that's from Geeky Tiki.
Yep. From the company is called Beeline Creative, but then
Creative.
That line is the Geeky Tikis. Yep.
All right, here's another one. This is cool.
This is a teaser they just did. You don't see the full image, but they're making a dewback, and it looks like he has some little stormtrooper mugs, little shot glasses that you can put on top. So
it's a dewback tiki mug with a bunch of small little stormtrooper tiki.
Yeah, they're all about teasing and showing little bits, and then eventually they'll do the full reveal. So they just tease that today, and you're like, oh man, really cool.
Beeline Creative.
Yep, same company.
All right, one more tiki, and I love this one so much.
Yep, so that's the same thing. I'm not sure who designed that. It's just like a tiki style mug, but I'm thinking there's going to be more. But you can see the Stormtrooper mug and half of Chewie, it looks like.
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Just really nice, really cool, fun designs.
All right.
Oh, that's the same one we saw earlier, the Jawa.
And then this.
And we saw that one. We're going back now.
Look, one more. Do you know anything about this?
Oh no, I didn't see that. It looks like
my God.
That's really cool. That's from. It looks okay. So I see this. The logo in the corner is Sideshow Collectibles. So it looks like
I can tell you a little bit about this one. Sideshow presents
Ahsoka.
The Ahsoka Tano premium format figure, a limited edition quarter-scale Star Wars collectible inspired by the fan favorite character's journey as seen in Star Wars Rebels. It's from the Star Wars Rebels era. The Ahsoka Tano premium format figure measures 19.5 inches tall, 14 inches wide, as the Tongruta warrior strikes a battle-ready stance on a Malachor-themed base. Her iconic dual lightsabers at the ready. Surrounded by the crumbling structure of an ancient temple, Ahsoka steadies herself to use the Force in her former Jedi Padawan training to confront the dangers of the dark side across the galaxy. Jake and Ryan, what is the owl? How's that significant?
Okay, well, first off, I almost bought this twice today. Like I was so close.
How much does it go for?
I think it's $250. Oh no, it's 125. 125.
Oh, wow,
I'm just
really?
pulling it up right now.
You just got 50% off.
I guess that is.
I love how she's holding the lightsaber, but she's also doing like the heavy metal hand, like the Ronnie James Dio or something. Rock on.
No, that's pretty awesome. Yeah, I mean, so if you guys actually saw, her episode of Mandalorian, this owl actually makes an appearance, but it's kind of hard to explain if you haven't seen Rebels.
Yeah.
But essentially, it's kind of like this animal that represents the world between worlds. which is something Ahsoka gets involved with in the series Rebels, and I think will be a major part of her spin-off show moving forward. But that owl is called the Leku. Or sorry, not the Leku. That's her. That's the name of her like headdress. I'm blanking on the name of the owl actually, but it's something that it follows her around a lot throughout Rebels, and will definitely be in her spin-off show.
That's cool. I thought that was the most impressive thing on there, and just Jake, thank you for taking us through that, because you and Brad have just kept me like, oh my gosh, there's so much stuff. This is just a sampling of the stuff they've been throwing around, and there's so much stuff that's being released.
It's Morai. Sorry, I just remember the name of the owl. It's called Morai.
Morai.
Yeah.
And then Brad said they launched HasLab with Unicron from Transformers the movie, and it was such a success. They're doing a lot more. That's pretty cool.
That was actually the first one they did was Jabba's sail barge from Return of the Jedi, and it was such a success. Then they tried to do it was actually pretty cool, like a life-size realistic Cookie Monster from Sesame Street, but it didn't get the backing, so they had to scrap that one. And then they did Unicron and a couple other things. They did like a Sentinel from X-Men, this like giant figure. It's really cool.
And then they did the Darth Vader prototype figure, and it was such a huge success. All right. So, Luke, Amanda's asking us a question. Did either of us get the picture she sent? All right. Oh my!
What the hell?
Kind of uncomfortable.
Amanda, I think we need for you to explain what the heck is this.
Wow! Sitting bare butt on top of R2D2.
For those of you who are just listening, it is a piece
I don't even know how to
artwork
describe it.
of
Jabba
a super muscular and apparently nearly naked Yoda, kind of gross.
The Hulk naked Yoda
straddling R2D2, holding a little bitty Jabba the Hutt as a little side toy.
Yeah. Right in his
and
armpit.
as Narcolepsy says, wait, he says, wait a second. WTF. We'll keep it at that. All right, Cheeseman, you can do away with that.
We're giving away free posters of this tonight. Just kidding.
Please, no more.
Screenshot it.
All right,
Take it
so
away.
guys, here's the deal.
Take it away.
Take it away.
As promised, we're going to wrap up the show very quickly with the 50 biggest moments of Lucasfilm history. But before we do, Con Guy Derek and Cheeseman, you guys missed a little portion of the show, which we did at the very beginning. In a minute or less, Derek, starting with you, how did Star Wars become a big part of your life?
Oh, I don't even remember the first time I heard of Star Wars. I just was always seeing pieces of it on TV and everything as a kid. It was a long time before I saw any of the movies in order until sometime when maybe I was around 9 or 10 years old. We borrowed the VHS tapes from my uncle and watched them all straight through. And I loved them.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's less than a minute, right?
Derek, when did we get the box set? That one.
This one, yeah.
Yeah, we had this, right?
This one.
I was in.
This is like the old. This is the original. Then this was like one that came out in like 95, I think, something like that.
Yeah.
The original one is what we borrowed from my uncle, and then the newer one we got a few years later. It was a present my mom got us. She said if we got all A's on our report cards or something, we could get the new digitally remastered Star Wars VHS set.
These look better, but these ones, the posters, the covers are like the original posters.
Oh yeah.
So,
gosh, that's so cool. I can't believe you have that.
awesome. Yep, these are my originals from a kid. And then the re-release just had like the faces on it. Yeah. Like that.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember seeing those on our kitchen table, and my brothers were excited, and I didn't know why, but I was excited too. And then it began.
Narcolepsy says he has the CBS box ones. What is that? I don't know what that means.
Is that I think that's actually, this says CBS Fox on it too. So
okay, cool.
Maybe it's this one, or there might have been a release before this one.
Yeah. All right, and Luke Cheeseman on the chair. How did you get introduced to Star Wars?
I feel like I might have watched some of like Empire Strikes Back at my friend Chris's house, and then I remember I watched some of the first original one at my house at some point. But I feel like my real introduction was when it came into the theaters, and they did, redid the animation poorly and all that. But I went and saw all three of them in order in the theater there, and then as the new ones came out, I saw those in the theater. So I would say kind of the theater experience has pretty much been mine. Regretfully, I don't feel like I really had a close tie to it as a smaller kid, which creates even more of the nostalgia. But as a filmmaker and all that, I got more so even into it once, I got older and all that. But kind of a late bloomer, I would say.
Late bloomer's better than an ever bloomer. That's all I ever say. All right, guys. The 50 biggest moments of 50 years of Lucasfilm. We can talk about it a little bit, but since we're an hour and 30 minutes in, we're going to kind of go quickly, but I would like to hear a little bit. Danae, you have numbers 1 through 5. We would love to hear your items. All right.
Awesome. I texted Jim back first, so I get to go first. And in no particular order, as a lot of people have said tonight, for number 1 in Empire Strikes Back, when we're kind of going into Darth Vader's room and you see the chair turning in the back of his head as his helmet is going on. And it's like, what? He's human. Anyways, that was really cool. Number 2, this was such a big deal because, Rogue One was released after.
You're good. Start number 2 again.
Number 2 again, please.
Start number 2 again. Sorry, I have to hop over to the spreadsheet to make sure I get it right. So number 2, this happened, Rogue One came out right about the time Carrie Fisher passed away. And I know that Katie Kawamoto already talked about like that amazing scene with Darth Vader just like coming in as they've got the plans. But I absolutely love just when they passed off the Death Star plans and you see the hood, you see the buns, and it turns around and it's young Princess Leia. They made it happen. And it's like, what is it? And she just goes, hope. And which of course leads us right into A New Hope. And it's amazing. Number 3, one of my favorite Star Wars moments in the ending of the very first episode of The Mandalorian, where we see Baby Yoda for the first time, and then just that beautiful shot of their silhouettes as he is standing over Baby Yoda in his floaty pod, and like his little hand just reaches up and Din is just reaching down towards him. It's so good. Number 4, I saw this today because while I was having dinner and getting ready for the podcast after work, I turned on my favorite, which as I said is The Empire Strikes Back. I just love when Han is repairing the Falcon and he's got his goggles on in just like that one teeny tiny shot. It's amazing. And I love that in our notes Jim included the second part of my text. This is one of my favorite moments was in Jabba's palace when Leia uses the chains that she is chained with to strangle him to death. Yeah. And then I wrapped it up with an all caps because that's what you get for running a sex cult, Jabba.
Here.
Can I tell you something? As a kid, it didn't quite register with me, but as an adult, she was chained up and held as a slave, and the accoutrement of which of her captors is what she used to kill her captor and free herself. That was amazing. I don't know if that's intentional, but boy, that's so awesome.
One little comment, and also I don't know if this is intentional, but that outfit that has just been sexualized by so many people because it is, rather demeaning, was Han Solo was blind the entire time she had that on. Like Han Solo did not fall in love with this sexualized image of Princess Leia. He fell in love with the turtleneck, long sleeve, bun head Princess Leia that we see in the rest of the episodes. And I just think that's awesome.
Oh my gosh, I never even
let that be a lesson to all of us.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That was numbers 1 through 5. Katie gave us numbers 6 through 11. And we will post all of these after the podcast post.
Katie also gave us 12 through 15.
Number 12 through 15. Ryan, our special guest tonight, has given us numbers 16 through 21, which includes your bonus one you sent to me today, Ryan. So I don't think I sent you the run sheet, but do you have the ones that you sent to me?
I do, I think. Awesome. Yes, I do.
Okay, cool.
Sorry. All right. Number 5 or 15, whichever number I am.
16.
Sorry, number 16. Guys, Ahsoka Tano, live action debut. on The Mandalorian.
Yes.
This is a character who unfairly was probably hated at one point, maybe even more than Jar Jar when she popped up in the original Clone Wars movie, which like
was she really?
I think, you know, and that was probably an uglier side of the fandom that really piled on her, but like also just wasn't a popular character. It wasn't a well-received character in that movie that came out. But the Clone Wars animated show, again, I think some of the best Star Wars we've had in the past 10 years. She was the most compelling character in that show. They totally made her so interesting throughout it, to this point where she became probably my favorite character of all the new Star Wars. And
can we just stop for a second? I never knew that there was controversy around her. The fact that
the original, like her initial introduction, like 2008, you know, and for her to go from that to it's 2020 and she's live action, like legitimized on The Mandalorian and just blows the doors off that show.
Yeah.
Rosario Dawson, holy cow. Like, it's probably the most redeemed character, I think, in like storytelling history. Like,
cool.
I can't.
Awesome. I didn't know
the
that.
pendulum swing is amazing. So Ahsoka Tano, that live action debut. All right, number 17, Boba Fett, canonized as being alive at the end of the premiere of season 2 of Mandalorian. Like, something that fans have been, you know, thinking about since 1983 when he fell in the Sarlacc pit. Like, is he alive? Is he not? Like, it was always like, maybe. And then when they pan to him as the twin sons, and you're like, oh my gosh, there he is. Holy cow. That was a moment. I'll go number 18 is from Empire. Also my favorite. Yoda lifting the ship. Oh my gosh. Not only the music, but just the like, I don't believe it. We couldn't believe it. And that is why he fails. Just the lesson to Luke. Sorry.
And that's the only reason we can't do the same thing.
No, but like Ryan, that is
Mm-hmm.
such a powerful scene. And you mentioned the music in the movie E.T., which came out in 1982. There's a little brief scene of a little kid dressed up as E.T. on Halloween, and they cut to that Yoda's theme and the music, and it just takes you back to that scene. However, this scene where he lifts the ship is not completed. That scene is only half the scene. Years later, in what year did Rise of Skywalker come out?
2019.
That's when the scene finally finished, when Luke finally raises his ship out of the water, and we hear Yoda's theme. Amazing! It's all I got to say. That was just brilliant storytelling. I love it so much. That scene just, I'm gonna get tears in my eyes just thinking about this stuff. It does it to me every time.
It's incredible. And then even on, apparently when they filmed it, that was the one shot. The wings kept falling off. It kept filling up with actual water. And that was like the one take they got. And it's incredible. Number 19, I'm messing up with math.
19.
Last Jedi. Guys, another Yoda scene at the fire. The trees burning. And Yoda gives Luke his final lesson, which might be one of my favorite scenes just all of Star Wars. It's my favorite scene in the movie, hands down. The greatest teacher failure is just chills every time. Like, he's still teaching him after all these years. That for me, that's the full circle. That's the ship in 9. Like, that was the moment for me. That was the final lesson. Just a beautiful, beautiful moment that I revisit constantly. And then my number 1, which is number 20, Luke throwing away the lightsaber, refusing to join the dark side. I mean, this is the culmination of the whole thing. Like, after he brings up like, sister, you have a twin sister, and just his like roar, and that whole moment there, man, that is that movie. That is this fight. Like,
I love it.
Holy cow. And then my honorable mention.
It's the internal battle.
You scared me for a second with that one. I thought you were talking about when he threw the lightsaber in the Ryan Johnson one. I'm like, nah.
Last Jedi.
Me too. I was about to.
I know, but he is known for throwing lightsabers. No, I will say, when he threw it, I mean, he just goes, "I'll never join you," and I'm a Jedi like my father before me. Like, holy cow, that's stuff
cool.
right there. Honorable mention though is from The Last Jedi, and honestly, like, this is probably the scene. Again, like, I am a fan of that movie. I'm a defender of that movie. But the scene when at the end of that film, when they blow up the base door to create All Hope Is Lost, like this princess who sent out a call sign for hope is just hopeless. Like it's deflated. No one's coming. They've sent out the signal, and you see Luke Skywalker coming from the shadows. And like Carrie Fisher passed away the year before, and he sits down. They share a scene together, like in old age, and he cups her hand and like consoles her. Like she's lost so much hope. Like she's given up on her son. She's like, my son's gone, and he tells her no one's really gone. No one's ever really gone, and that's double meaning of like Kylo's not gone. He can be redeemed. You, an actress, have passed away, but you're not really gone. You're forever eternalized in these movies. And it's just an amazing moment. And everyone makes fun of them kissing in Empire Strikes Back. Well, he kisses her again on the forehead here. And it's just a beautiful, familial, like, goodbye. And also just like...
He knows he's leaving.
His goodbye, too. It's an incredible scene that I don't think could have even been nearly matched if he went out in like a blaze of glory gunfire, which we still kind of get. We have our cake and eat it too. And that is, for me, like the scene where he goes and faces down the First Order with nothing but a laser sword.
It was an amazing scene. And I know that like me and Luke and Brad, who's in the chat, we were watching that movie. And Brad, I'm going to tattle on you. That scene tore us up. Me and Brad both lost it when that happened. I mean, just weeping in the aisles. It was just like, it was like, this is.
And he walks out, gives 3PO a wink, like, come on. And then like his kids, his actual kids, like are there, and they see him.
And he hands the dice to her. The dice from Han Solo.
And it's great. And we are an hour and 40 minutes into our show. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
All right.
That is one moment in that movie, that awful movie that I did really like.
All right. Numbers 22 through 26, Ben has given us. Again, this will all be on our website. Now, numbers 27 through 31 is Derek. So, Derek.
Yes. All right. So, mine up for number 27. And again, no particular order. But I'm saying where Han Solo is on the comms when they're at the detention block there in the storm. They're trying to stop anybody else from coming, and he just shot a couple guys, and he's talking to somebody on the command thing, and they're asking him questions, and he's like, everything's fine. I had this like weapons malfunction, but it's all fine. We're all fine here now. How are you?
I love it.
And my mom and I quote that to each other when we talk on the phone. If she asks how I'm doing, I'm like, oh, we're fine. We're all fine. What, Danae?
Situation normal, because
everything's fine here. Situation normal.
We all should have mom.
Yes. And then next one, number 28, I say the leap of faith scene in The Last Crusade. That always stuck with me as a kid. Because it's so strange. And then he steps out, and then there's that bridge right under his feet. And of course, like that original trilogy of Indiana Jones, it's like you kind of have this whole story of him like coming to faith in a sense in the things that he's going after and realizing, okay, it's what they really represent. And yeah. Anyway, it's very interesting. Number 29, I always love the Ewok on the speeder bike in Return of the Jedi. They've been using those, and there's the one scene just created a version, and C-3PO is like, I'm afraid our furry friend has gone and done something rather rash. And he jumps on, and you just hear the thing speeding up and the Ewok flying behind it, and then he goes upside down. He's like, oh, when he gets back on. It's great.
Wait, how's he go, Derek?
He goes, kind of like that. Side note, some of the Ewoks actually speak Tagalog. My wife, being Filipino, was able to show me a YouTube video where like somebody subtitled it and pointed out a couple little things they say. Apparently, some of the little people they had as extras in there must have been Filipino and were throwing in a little bit of random Tagalog stuff when they're ad-libbing. So I don't know what that means. It's just interesting. Another moment, this is bigger than a moment, but when Young Indiana Jones, the TV show, actually aired, I was super stoked as a kid. I remember our Meemaw would tape it for us because I think it aired on Sunday nights and we weren't able to get there to watch it in time. But she taped a few episodes. And when that pilot episode came out as a kid, I was just so excited. I loved watching it because I loved this hero that I'd been a fan of, seeing him as a kid like me that I could relate to a little more. And then as like a young adult, which to me, I didn't love those episodes as much as a child. If I were able to go back and see the whole things now, probably feel differently. Unfortunately, Lucasfilm will not actually release the shows as aired. They've released some video and DVD versions where they kind of made them into mini movies, or they recut them a little bit. But the original show had a really, really old Indiana Jones talking to somebody in the 90s when the show was airing, like a modern times. And then the whole episode would be a flashback. What's that?
Why won't they release them as aired?
I don't know. They just never have.
For some reason, they won't give us the original trilogy as cut.
Katie,
yeah, I mean, like how we can't get the original versions of the original, yeah, and kind of like George Lucas. What, you're embarrassed by the Ewok song, the man who gave us Jar Jar Binks, but you won't give us that righteous jam again?
Was the first Indiana Jones, the young Indiana Jones episode? Was that the one about the mummy?
Yeah, there was a mummy and the jackal.
I remember seeing that, and as a kid, and that was pretty freaky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hello, Andy. Andy said he was just watching Young Indiana Jones on DVD. That's cool.
Yeah, so you can get a version of them now, but not the ones. But I've not found any at all yet, anyway, where they've released the original content with the old Indy at the beginning and end of each episode.
Maybe
which
they
is what
have
I'd really like to see.
Maybe someone is selling them at a convention or something.
Maybe so.
Table or something.
And then a favorite moment. This isn't so much the moment from the movie. It happened during a moment from the movie. But we were watching Return of the Jedi with a very, very young Danae. And right as you see Palpatine's face fully on camera for the first time, this little voice near me says, "That's just the ugliest thing I've ever seen."
It really is, though.
I just love that so much. And I can hear that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So that's numbers 27 through 31. For numbers 32 through 41, Cheeseman.
Wow. Get so many. Didn't mean for this to happen. This was like so last minute.
Well, we had to fill out all 50. We kind of ran short a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I'll go in categories, kind of in order of what I have here. So I'm a big fan of American Graffiti, so I noted just a couple things that I liked being part of, the Lucasfilm thing. I like the fact that American Graffiti is technically like seen as a musical, because the music and the soundtrack throughout kind of drive the scene. So they kind of think of it as like a non kind of singing, dancing musical, but more of like a music kind of thing driving the movie, like I said. So I like that aspect of it. And I like it being kind of a one night coming of age story that had, such great actors, like Ron Howard, Harrison Ford, Richard Dreyfuss, and more, like all the just a cool cast of.
It's an early version. It's an early version of Dazed and Confused.
Exactly.
It kind of is. It really is.
Which is also a great movie. Saw that for the first time with Jake. And then the Indiana Jones movies, just, the character of Indiana Jones himself just being such an iconic figure in, like, cinema history. I love the fact that they made such an iconic figure. And kind of skip into one of the ones I had later tied with that is, Harrison Ford being able to be part of multiple films within the Lucasfilm universe and not being stereotyped as just one figure. Like, he was Han Solo, but then he became Indiana Jones, but also was in like American Graffiti and just so many like other things he's done and been able to break that mold, kind of like how Chris Pratt's playing like multiple things within today, or there's different actors that can do that, like Christian Bale and all that. But I think it's pretty cool. That was one of mine, that Harrison Ford was able to kind of break that mold of Han Solo and be multiple things within the Lucasfilm universe. And also, I like, the scene in the first Indiana Jones where he's like fighting all these people. And I know this was one of Spielberg's favorite scenes as well, but then he was just too tired to do the last one, just shoots the guy.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of he's doing all these fancy sword moves, he just pulls out the gun. It's such a good kind of.
That's one of the most classic scenes in all of Indiana Jones. I love it so much.
Yeah, it was not what the audience would have been expecting, seeing this guy swinging the sword around. And then also in Indiana Jones, I just love that father and son relationship and conflict in The Last Crusade with Sean Connery and like, don't call me Junior, and just all that kind of conflict. But then the fatherly son love of their reconnection and all that throughout that film was just such a good, just made it fun storytelling. And wish they could have done that in that film we're not talking about, but this one did it great. And then back to kind of Star Wars, which we've been talking about. I love the good versus evil stuff, and like I was just saying, the father versus son kind of thing, conflict, and the fight between Luke and Darth Vader on Empire Strikes Back, I think is one of the coolest scenes in kind of cinematic history. Of just kind of even the look of it just was amazing. It's just so iconic that it's just like hard to beat. And then also Star Wars, you know, it was one of the influences that I got my name from. My parents were at a Bible study studying the chapter Luke, but my dad thought the name was cool because of movies like Cool Hand Luke with Paul Newman and because of Star Wars with Luke Skywalker. So
Luke is partly
reason
named after Luke Skywalker.
Yeah. So that after this guy,
That's
Luke
so
Skywalker.
cool.
Luke Cheesewalker.
Yeah, Luke Cheesewalker. I think my mom stopped watching, but I think my dad used to do something where he'd walk me around with being a baby, and I think call me like Luke Skywalker or Walker or something like that.
My dad was watching Return of the Jedi today, and he just texted me, a lot of drooling characters in this movie. I was like, yeah.
Baby Cheesewalker was definitely a drooler. And something else cool about, you know, the whole kind of Lucasfilm and especially the Star Wars thing, which I'm sure would actually be one of Jake's favorite things.
This is number 39.
Yeah, number 39 is the toy market that came with it. And just, you know, that I just can't believe that they turned like, oh yeah, George Lucas, you can just kind of take the toy market. We don't really care about that. And then it just became like the biggest toy market like out there. And so he really blew up, you know, this whole thing of like now we get all these retro toys and just toys being something to collect, I think was really kind of launched by George Lucas in some ways.
And to that point, Star Wars became the largest toy franchise of all time at that point. And I think what happened, it waned, but it has come back. It is the largest toy franchise of all time and has not been passed up. So, and what's cool, what you're talking about, George Lucas, he wanted to make the second Star Wars. He made a deal with the studio. He goes, you don't have to pay me for this. Just give me the rights to the toy merchandising. And he took that instead. And
like,
boy,
sure.
did he make the right decision. You know, good gracious. All right.
And then I already said 41, which was the Harrison Ford multiple roles, but number 40, my last one. My favorite poster artist, Drew Struzan, did some really good art for the Indiana Jones films, and then he redid kind of when they put the original 3 out again. He did those posters, and he did the new 3 prequels as well. So here's a quick picture of those. If it's going to pop up.
Yeah, you showed it. Pull it back up.
Is it?
Yeah, it's there right now.
Here we go.
We can see it.
Yeah. So yeah, you can recognize these iconic art that he did there with the Star Wars movies. Here's out of order here, Indiana Jones Last Crusade.
Nice.
Such a cool iconic poster. And then I actually have this one signed by the artist himself of the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom.
Drew Struzan did that one?
Yep.
Did them all, yeah.
Yeah, so I had that as Star Wars and a Back to the Future all signed by him, but this is kind of also a special kind of art piece he did, I think, for it looks like George Lucas and kind of some of the art and things he worked on. So I think he did some stuff for Willow as well, and looks like there's some others like Howard the Duck. Is that on there?
That's George Lucas, yeah.
Yeah, and American Graffiti, it looks like it's on there as well.
Yeah, Howard the Duck. Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, and Tucker. The car show. Yep.
Nice.
And Brad just wanted to ask, didn't we go see his gallery up at the it wasn't the observatory, it was at
Forest Lawn,
yeah, the
museum.
At a cemetery, Brad.
Yeah.
And Luke, your mom has chimed in with a comment. She said, actually, your dad would put you in your little walker and pick you up toward and fly you around the ceiling and say, look, it's Luke Skywalker. That's awesome.
Mama Cheese laying down the facts.
Yeah.
All right. Luke, thank you for sharing that. All right. Our last 9 right here. And number 42. And this is something a lot of people don't know. In 1979, Pixar began as part of the Lucasfilm computer division, known as the Graphics Group, before it was spun off in 1986 with funding from Apple co-founder Steve Jobs, who became its majority shareholder. Lucasfilm started Pixar, which is now one of the biggest franchises of all time. God bless them. I love that. All right, number 43, one of my favorites. I had it right here. I'm going to show it again. Here, I'm going to go a little bit bigger on this. This is it. Luke and Leia swinging over that bottomless chasm on the Death Star in Star Wars A New Hope, back when it was just called Star Wars Episode 4. You guys probably don't know. That's what it was originally called.
It was just called Star Wars, right?
That's
like the
right.
Episode 4, A New Hope, all came later.
A New Hope came later. Yeah, correct. All right.
I mean, Episode 4 also came later.
So I'm going to start. Here's a very special lightsaber to me. This is number 45, because I don't know if you'll be able to see this. I'm going to hold it up real close. What that says is, Star Wars 1976, which is when they started filming the movie, through 2015. I got this lightsaber in 2015 at Comic-Con. Number 45 for me, one of the biggest moments of Lucasfilm was Comic-Con 25 with the huge Star Wars Episode 7 panel, which featured the original 3, Mark Hamill, Carrie Fisher, and Harrison Ford, along with the new 3, John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, and Oscar Isaacs. Then a giant concert behind the convention center with fireworks over San Diego Bay. It was truly monumental. I have never seen anything that big in Star Wars in all my life. Also, number 46, selfishly, I got a picture here. I want to share with you guys. This is, oh my gosh. I got a picture to share. Where is it at? I'm going to come back to that one because I don't see it on here. Wait, I'm going to upload it right now. So, I'll come back to that one. I'm so sorry. Star Wars Celebration 2015. Jake, you weren't at that one, right?
No,
That was my first Comic-Con, though.
Oh, you went to Comic-Con in 2015?
You guys took me.
Oh, that's right. But I'm talking about
first one.
Star Wars Celebration, though. Star Wars Celebration in 2015. And I'm sorry I got thrown off by the picture that I wanted to show you guys. I really wanted to show you guys. Okay, I've got it right there. I'm going to upload it, but I'm going to go through the others. Let's see if I can do two things at once. In Star Wars, this is really hard. In the Star Wars Celebration 2015 in Anaheim, one of the best moments of my Star Wars fandom, and the other 5,000 people sitting in the auditorium, is the premiere of the Chewie We're Home trailer, when 3,000 grown men stood up and cried, wept, and held each other because it was the return of Star Wars. Star Wars was back, baby. That was one of the best moments. And then they showed it twice, and it was just as good that second time. I just can't tell you how much that meant to me. All right, number 48 is number 48. I start getting choked up over some of these things because I did grow up with this stuff. I had the opportunity in 2015 to interview Carrie Fisher about the new film coming out. And I asked her, what's the most challenging part about returning to this series? And she said, my memory and my hair. Classic Carrie Fisher. She also had a lot of other cool things to say. She said that her most memorable day on set was her first day showing up, and she heard Harrison Ford off in the distance yelling, is she here yet? Is she here? Talking about her. Oh, it does the heart good. All right. Number 49, the huge escape from the rushing water scene at the climax of the Temple of Doom. That, to me, I can tell you, that was 1984. Yeah, 1984 or 85, one of those 2 years. Temple of Doom, because it came out the same year as Gremlins. Both of them it caused the industry to establish the PG-13 rating. But I remember for a number of years after that, I was like, that is my favorite movie of all time. I loved Temple of Doom so much. Guys, please indulge me just for 1 second. I am uploading a picture right now. Sorry, I had to do it on a separate computer. I apologize for this. I apologize. Okay, it's here. It's here.
There are two Jims.
It's definitely got to be the part where there's when Luke pulls off the mask and it's
This is funny. Luke just struck down Vader in the cave, and he
What
saw
is happening?
yeah.
All right, wait. It's almost up to. It's almost there. It's almost
Why are
there.
they both talking at the same
The
time?
picture is updated. All right, here we go. There, I got it. So, back in 2015, back when the new episode. How is it? What are you? How did you do that?
Camera one. Camera
Oh, I did that? I didn't know I did that. I'm so sorry. Okay, so back in 2015, I had the great pleasure and the great privilege of being there at the induction of George Lucas into the Disney Legend ceremony. And this right here, I got to tell you, right here, this picture, this means the world to me. I was able to sit down and have a face-to-face, one-on-one interview with George Lucas. And basically, when C-3PO says, thank the maker, this is the maker. This is the maker of Star Wars. This will forever be the maker of Star Wars. And I just got to tell you guys, it was hard doing that interview because I just sat down and I was like, blah, 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 blah. I was all gobbled up. All right. And my mom was on here earlier. I don't know if she's still on here, but I just got to say, my best moment of Lucasfilm of all time. Back in the day, Star Wars would return to theaters every year or so. It would come back all the time. So back in 1981, my entire family loaded up into the car to go to the Robin Drive-In Theater in Rockford, Illinois. We met up with my Uncle Ronnie and my Aunt Eloise and my cousins to see Star Wars. This is touching to me for different reasons, though. So
we're here with you, Jim. We love you, man.
We love you, Jim.
Oh, I gotta get really. I get choked up.
Yeah.
Because we met up with my Uncle Ronnie, my Aunt Eloise, and my cousins to go see Star Wars. And then we returned 2 weeks later to see Raiders of the Lost Ark because we just seen the advertisements. It was a priceless moment. The Robin Theater is now gone. And so is my Uncle Ronnie. But that memory will live forever. That, to me, best memory of all time.
No one's ever really gone, Jim. Remember?
No one's ever really gone.
No, they're not. I agree. So to me, that was like such a special memory. And Star Wars is such a special thing because it brought my family, all of my family pieces together at different times. And I just loved it so much. And guys, we do have to end the show because we are so – stop it, Luke. Listen,
that was a good moment to wrap on.
Oh, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the Con Guy Show tonight. This has been a special evening. I love Star Wars. It's a fandom for more reasons than just it's got cool lightsabers and cool battles. It's got so much heart and so much meaning, and it just pulls us all together. Let's go around the room and just tell everybody where we can find you online, starting with Derek.
Yeah, you can occasionally find me on Twitter at ConGuyDerek. I'm wearing my Dadalorian t-shirt today in honor of Star Wars Day, and also saying goodbye to the foster kids I've been talking so much about. More of a see you later. We're still going to see them, but as of today, they're not living with us anymore. But yeah, so that might mean that I get back on social media a little bit, but I doubt it. Anyway, we do usually sign off. Sometimes we'll be just a reminder to be kind to each other. I just want to point out, Jim was just talking about how, he has these wonderful family memories of going to see Star Wars. And Danae and I share about watching it together as kids. And, great stories help bring us together. Don't use stories as an excuse to drive people away.
Amen.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Amen, Derek. Cheeseman. All right, well, let's let Cheeseman close us out. Let's go down to the other half of the Samblings. Danae.
Hey, guys, you can find me on Instagram at screen just got a lot wider. And Instagram on at DNAYS. You can also find me on TikTok sometimes at Winey Danae, wine spelled like the wine that you drink. But yeah, just let's all, as Bill and Ted said, be excellent to each other. And remember that forgiveness is important.
Amen. Jake, where can we find you?
Hey, you can find me on Instagram at the Jacoba System. And I just wanted to say happy Star Wars Day to everybody. May the 4th be with you. And thanks for having me.
Ryan, our very special guest tonight.
Thank you so much for having me. I love all you guys. You're the best. I miss you guys so much. I can't wait to see you. May the 4th be with you. Yeah, Star Wars is the best. Love it. It brings a lot of people together. I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to talk about it with tonight on this day. And may the 4th be with you. May the Force be with you. And peace out.
All right. Cheeseman, take us out, please.
Oh, he literally peaced out.
He left us.
Okay.
No one's ever really gone.
Yeah, especially Ryan.
He was just force projecting himself in.
Yeah. Well, I'm Cheeseman. You can find me on both Instagram and Twitter at CheeseOnCouch, and also on theconguy.com. And my final advice would be to watch Star Wars when you're young. I've taken pride in kind of trying to introduce my nieces and nephews to movies at a younger age, and I got them kind of started on some of the Star Wars stuff younger. So, yeah, like Jake already having his baby holding a lightsaber. Start him young.
Thank you, Mama Cheeseman. It's awesome to see you still up with us tonight. You and my mom are our favorite fans. Derek, Danae, we need to get your mom watching the show.
We're trying. She wakes up very early and she lives on the East Coast, and staying up late is hard for her. I was on the phone with her tonight and she wants to start listening again, though.
Who's got your lightsaber? Who's got your lightsaber? Let's go out with the lightsabers, guys. All right, good. Yay. There we go. Turn it on. And with that, we say,
turn the light on.
May the 4th be with you. Love you guys. Bye-bye. Thanks for listening to The Con Guy Show, the official program of theconguy.com. Find us on the Weeby Geeks Collective or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And now on sci-fi.radio, Saturdays at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, both AM and PM. That's 9 o'clock Greenwich. It's sci-fi for your Wi-Fi.